We got the Jets in New England this weekend. I'm sure all the Jet fans are excited because it's payback time for Billy Bell. Bill Belichick is coming to MetLife Stadium. Over the last 5 years, the Jets just can't buy a win against this team. It's going to change this week, baby. As the Jets going into the game 5-2, the New England Patriots 3-4. Get ready for war, baby. The New York Jets lose Breece Hall and Alijah Vera-Tucker for the season. Alijah, a tricep tear. Breece Hall, a torn ACL and a little bit of tear in his meniscus. He will be out for the season as well. It's really sad because I believe he was on his way to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. This guy was becoming a star right in front of our eyes, and he is not down and out on anything that happened to him. He believes he'll be back to normal. So if you're a Jet fan, you just pray that this kid is going to be back to what he was before this injury happened. So I believe he will. We've seen Adrian Peterson come back from an injury like this. We've seen Saquon Barkley come back from an injury like this. So why can't Breece Hall, a beast of a man? But after that, the Jets were bringing up Bam night. But after that, the New York Jets make a trade with Jacksonville to land James Robinson and give up a 6th-round draft pick, possibly could turn into a 5th-round draft pick, depending on the numbers and if the Jets make the playoffs. To get James Robinson for as good as a 5th-round draft pick. The first 3 games, he was the leading rusher in the NFL. And then all of a sudden, Travis Etienne takes over the number 1 spot. They decide to bench Robinson, barely play him on any of the snaps. I don't know why Peterson was doing that. But you see what James Robinson is. He's a man-child. He's a beast. He is not as good as Breece Hall. He's not as explosive as Breece Hall, but he is a pounder. And that's what the Jets need. Michael Carter is not a pounder. He's a guy that you can use inside, but he's better on the outside. Breece Hall could do everything. So can James Robinson. And you have control of James Robinson next year. So you will have possibly a 3-headed monster next year. Next year was the year I said the Jets are going to be the explosive team, a contender. James Robinson, Breece Hall, and Michael Carter in that backfield.
James Robinson brings a different skill set than both of them, too. Breece Hall's as complete of a runner as you can get. James Robinson's a good one-cut runner, especially outside. Especially now the Jaguars are using a little more inside because of Etienne, but he's still capable of running outside. You saw it his rookie year when he was one of the breakthrough undrafted rookies. And then Michael Carter brings a finesse game, good agility, good pass-catching back, too. And James Robinson could be a pass-catching back as well. He is under control next year as well. That'll be part of that 3-headed monster if they end up being healthy. As far as Alijah Vera-Tucker, I think that one's going to be a little tougher to replace because there's not a lot of linemen like him, not only on the Jets, but also in the NFL, too. There's not a lot of tackles or guards that can move around and be as versatile as him. He's played 4 positions this year as it is, and especially in a zone blocking scheme that Mike LaFleur likes to bring, carried over from the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan's type offense. There's a lot of motion. There's a lot of exotic type of blocking, and Alijah Vera-Tucker was playing at an all-pro level. That kind of thing is not going to be able to be replaced right away, so they're going to have to make some adjustments. They have the talent. They have the depth to be able to make it work to some extent, but that might have to change the scheme up a little bit the way they run. Maybe adjust it more to what James Robinson likes to do as a runner in comparison to Breece Hall.
You have George Font coming back. Max Mitchell was right around the corner as well, so you have depth. And I believe Joe Douglas is looking. The trade deadline is this week. Don't be surprised if he goes after Conklin from the Browns, who could be out of the playoffs right now. You'll have to take on a contract, but also Lermy Tunsil is another guy that everybody keeps talking about. But I don't know if Tunsil is a guy that the Jets want to bring in because they have to take that contract on, and they're looking to re-sign Quinn Williams. He is going to be expecting a big contract. He is one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL right now. He's been a dominant force ever since the Bengals game, yelling at the defensive linemen, yelling at Ubrick, and now finally saying they don't need a blitz package. They need 4 guys rushing up the middle. He is proving it right now that he is a man-child right now, and nobody can stop him. No offensive line can stop this guy right now, and it's been absolutely amazing. This is what you wanted to see. The Jets drafted this guy 3 years ago as the 3rd pick in the draft. He fell to the Jets when everybody thought he was possibly the best player in the draft. We've seen this before. Leonard Williams, who everybody thought was the number 1 pick, he fell to the Jets at 6. He really has been a bust. Quinn Williams, he has been really good, but the problem with the Jets over the last couple of years, they had no edge rushers. So what teams were doing, they were clogging up the middle. They know Quinn Williams is a man-child, so they had 3 guys or 2 guys clogging up the middle. Now they can't do it anymore because everybody else is playing well well up front. They're causing havoc in the middle of the field. And what does that leave for Quinn Williams? A beast of a man clogging up the middle and running through everybody. And you're seeing the greatness of what this kid could be. Everybody was talking about comparing him to Aaron Donald. I don't know if he's Aaron Donald. We have to see year in and year out of dominance before we call him Aaron Donald. But if he's anywhere close to Aaron Donald, and this guy can get 11 sacks every single year in the middle as a nose tackle, defensive tackle, you're not even putting him on the edge like Aaron Donald is. This guy is going to be a beast. This guy's going to be the best defensive lineman in the league in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, there's not many linemen that have the quickness on the interior like Quinn Williams does. Aaron Donald, obviously, Chris Jones and Grady Jarrett, but beyond that, there's not much 4-3 defensive tackles with that kind of speed, agility, and quickness, too. And that was a big reason why he was rumored so high in that draft. I had him at the time as the second best player after Nick Bosa overall. One of the more complete defensive tackle prospects you'll see. And now you're finally seeing it in full throttle. And the difference between him and Leonard Williams, when Leonard Williams was drafted by the Jets, is Quinn Williams at least has an injury excuse. Leonard Williams, he was good his rookie year and never really developed after that. And he wasn't really hurt that
He also
much.
had Sheldon Richardson. He also had Muhammad Wilkerson on that line. I know everybody keeps talking about the Jets line. And Rankins is a good player. And Carl Lawson, they're all good players. Nowhere close to this guy. Quinn Williams is showing everybody on why he's going to get paid in the offseason. He is going to make $100 million. The Jets are going to pay him. He is worth that money, and he is the centerpiece of what this defensive line could be for the future. He's only 24 years old. He's a kid. He's only going to get better. And with the secondary that the Jets have, how is the Patriots going to be able to throw against this secondary? Who do they have? Parker? There's nobody. Jacoby Myers? DJ Reed is going to take out Jacoby Myers. And what do you think Gardner's going to do? He's going to take out Parker. Parker's nowhere close to Jamar Chase. He shut down Sutton last week. And Sutton's been one of the better wide receivers in the league. Even though Russell Wilson can't throw to anybody else, Gardner was Defensive Player of the Week again. What you're seeing with the New York Jets is this defense is developing, and they're becoming the dominant force that everybody thought that Robert Saleh's defense should look like. Remember in San Francisco with Warner and Bosa? Now the Jets have something like that. Look at the linebackers that the Jets have. C.J. Mosley, Quincy Williams, Quentin Williams' brother, who's the faster of the two guys that can defend multiple positions. And then you have your front seven and Rankins and Sean Franklin Myers, Carl Lawson, and now Jermaine Johnson coming back. The depth that the Jets have now, it's just ridiculous. Now, do they have a pass rusher? I don't know if they have the distinct pass rusher that a lot of teams have. They might be looking for that in the offseason, in the draft. It's incredible what this defense has transitioned to. In the beginning of the year, they couldn't do anything right. Now, after the third game in the Bengals, a light switch. Quentin Williams went crazy on the sidelines. This team is completely different. This defense is completely different. They believe. And that is what scares me for the New England Patriots. And they are going to clothesline that New England Patriots offensive line. Because Chicago went into New England, put up a 20-something spot against that defense where everybody said, oh, the Patriots are top 5 defense this year. Justin Fields and no wide receivers went into New England and beat New England. Absolutely embarrassing.
I have it as an ugly game. I don't think the Jets or Patriots are really going to prove much in this game. I don't think the Patriots are that good anyway. It's just one of those like tricky situations. Like the Jets are trying to have to rearrange their offensive line all at once. Bill Belichick is a guy that will always decoy away from your top player. And all the time with wide receivers, but I also with defense. We see a lot of top pass rushers outside of Von Miller. Look at Aaron Donald in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Like they decoyed him like crazy, and the Rams couldn't really do anything. J.J. Watt throughout his career against the Patriots always had trouble. I think the Patriots will be able to decoy somebody like that, whether it's Lawson, whether it's Williams. I also think Ramondre Stevenson's playing really well right now. Watch out for a guy like Hunter Henry, too. That's going to be a tough matchup for these safeties that have had their issues so far. LaMarcus Joyner in man coverage last week was horrible. He had the interception because ripping through right at him, but still, he did not look good. So expect Bill Belichick to try to be able to expose those matchups. The Jets defense, I think, will be fantastic, though, in this game. And you mentioned it with Robert Saleh. Really has changed it. And you compare it to the 49ers defense in 2019 had the better front seven. The Jets defense has a much better secondary than that San Francisco team.
They have one of the best secondaries in all of football, if not the best. Gardner and Reed, two guys that are going to be Pro Bowl players this year. Dual threat. Both of them have only given up one touchdown in all of the season. I know Gardner has a lot to prove, and he wants to prove it. He doesn't shut up on the field. So expect another Jalen Ramsey, a guy that likes to speak. Gardner likes to speak, and when you can do it the way he can do it and Ramsey can do it, then you have every right to speak. So,
as crazy as it sounds, he's outplayed Ramsey this year.
Oh, he's better. Give it 2 years. Everybody's going to be talking about Garner as the best corner in all of football. It's not even going to be close. How many corners in the league are 6'3", can run as fast as Garner can, has the length? He can defend smaller guys. He can defend bigger guys. And he's just as fast as any small guy, as much as he's as fast as any big guy. He can jump. He has tremendous hands, too. So he is the full package. And he's going to go down as the best player in that draft. He is going to be Darrelle Revis-esque. He might even be better than Darrelle Revis in the long run. Darrelle Revis, some people say, is the second best corner of all time, right behind Deion Sanders. Could you imagine this kid go out and prove everybody completely wrong about what he did in Cincinnati? Because everybody said it was a fluke. He was in a bad division. Who did he play? He just shut down Williams, the star wide receiver over there in Alabama, in the Final Four game. And you saw what he is capable of doing. And now you're seeing it in the NFL against the best players in the league at their position. Go ask Jamar Chase how many points he scored against the New York Jets. And ask him how many yards he had in that game. Because I can tell you. And you know who was defending him practically the whole game. And this kid's a real deal. Now Jamar Chase has a hip problem. Whang, whang, whang. I don't want to hear it.
Zach Taylor's going to have to actually coach.
Yeah, that's not saying much. He's got a good quarterback, so they'll win just because of the quarterback play. But besides that, there is nothing to brag about with the Bengals. I think the Bengals are so open to lose every single week. And they're a has-been team from last year. I don't think they're the same team they were last year. Their kicker's not the same. Their quarterback's not the same. Their defense isn't the same. Their offensive line, which was supposed to be better, is even worse. Mr. Zach Attack, he's been horrible this year as a head coach for what he did in the playoffs last year. And by the way, they were so lucky last year against the Las Vegas Raiders.